Good morning, Lay. Coach Nicole Connor here. I'm really excited. Lay and I are talking a little bit about a class that we both have taken. It's called the Four Agreements Journey, and it's hosted by Coach Kiwi Whitehead and Coach Daryl Price. A very detailed study of this book. So for those of you who've heard of it, maybe you picked up the book and read it on a plane, maybe you listened to it on Audible, maybe you watched even a YouTube video because a friend said, this is amazing, you got to go check it out. Well, this class is a dive in on a study about these agreements and the things that you may have held on to or perceptions you may have held that are holding you back from your success, among other things. Maybe even your relationships, your money making, your business, you name it. This book really is a deep dive in this class with Coach Daryl and Coach Kiwi. So Lay, Kiwi, welcome. Thanks so much for being on with me today. As always, tell us a little bit about your particular reason for taking the class, and if you could describe what it was like working with Coach Daryl and Coach Kiwi along this journey.
Thank you, Nicole. This was just a wonderful, wonderful book. Now, many years ago, I've actually had a CD that I used to listen to while driving, but it's totally different from when you actually read the book and also have a group of people that you're studying with, because you go into a lot of, it's pretty deep reading.
Yes.
And for each of those agreements, there's just so much content there, so much information. And to really help, what it did for me is to reassess me, Lay, who I am, and the agreements that I've made with myself over the years, and how, and you will hear later in one particular area that I'm going to share, and how profound it was for me. And so what I would like to say, though, is I really enjoyed the class with Daryl Price and Kiwi Whitehead. I've worked with Kiwi in the past, and I just love working with her. And this was no different. It was so powerful. And she's such a great, great coach. Now, Mr. Daryl Price, he's such a happy person. He teaches happiness classes, and he's a life coach, health and wellness coach as well. But he has such a wonderful personality. If you meet him, you will just be in awe with Daryl Price. And if you've ever taken any classes with him, in fact, I would encourage you to check him out. He's out there on the web. I would highly recommend. And why? It's because his teaching is, it's fun. I love it. But also it's to the point, and he's very detailed in terms of when he's actually teaching one area of the book. And I was with him for a couple of those, and was pretty detailed and pretty deep. And so I was, many times I was just in complete awe of him and his style of teaching. And, I'm not making any comparisons, because I'm just so blessed to be able to be coached by Daryl Price and Kiwi Whitehead. But this was the first class I've ever taken with Daryl. And I would highly recommend anyone watching this today that you take the Four Agreements with Coach Daryl and Coach Kiwi, because you will really love it. So back to you, Nicole.
Thank you. I totally concur. It's a different dynamic. So if you've been around the CCC community with Coach Kiwi for a while, and you've never had an exposure to working with Coach Daryl, not only do we highly recommend that, but any opportunity you have to really plug into the kinds of things that he's doing, we would certainly recommend it. So let's dive in a little bit. There are 4 agreements. This book is written by Don Miguel Ruiz, and the title of the book is a Toltec wisdom book. So for those of you who are spiritually inclined, this will resonate with you. And those of you who aren't, it is a little meaty in your head. You kind of have to get out of your right brain, get into your left brain a little bit, and really start exploring some of these things from a perspective that you have an opportunity to really shake off some old decisions or agreements that you made in the past and maybe not even know where they came from. So there are 4. The first is be impeccable with your word. The second is don't take anything personally. The third is don't make assumptions. And the fourth is always do your best. And I had an opportunity to interview a lot of people who've taken this course, and everybody gets something different, as did I, going through this course. And so today we're going to focus on the fourth agreement for Lay and her experience and her aha moments and the things that really helped her to break off some old assumptions, if you will, some old agreements that were made. And I actually would like for you to share the story in brief on how this sort of came to the forefront of your brain and what it is that really hit you. So there's a piece of this that right in the beginning of the chapter that says on the fourth agreement, always do your best. And it says that there's just one more agreement, and it says allows the other three agreements to become deeply ingrained habits. And the fourth agreement is about the action of the first three and always doing your best. And Lay, you pointed out the second paragraph of that, which is, that it's changing all the time and that it's not going to be the same every day, and that every moment of your life is not going to be the same. And so share with everyone in your group session, not heartfelt, well, it's up to you, details about how you kind of got to this place where you understood something that really helped you to understand yourself a little bit better, and how you plan to go forward knowing this new agreement you get to make.
Thank you, Nicole. Yes, it was a pretty profound session with the group. And, one of the question was, can you think of an agreement that you made with yourself that is pretty much still with you, and or have you been able to just move forward and say, I no longer agree with that old agreement any longer, and move forward? And like I said, it just hit me pretty hard in that class, meaning like this light bulb went on. I had this warm feeling in my heart, and I said, okay, it's time to move on. Even though I know that I pretty much about 10 or 15 years ago gradually moved away from a lot of that because I needed to concentrate on my family, our needs, and what I needed to do, and our emotions and all of that. But it was still here in my heart. It was still here on my shoulders. But I have to say, as soon as I released it, while in that session, I just felt this chain just broke from my whole body, and this huge weight just came off of my shoulder. And it was the most magnificent feeling I felt in so many years, because I literally in that class let it go. Sometimes we measure, our performance or what we do in such a huge expectation, right? But sometimes it's just that little bit is enough. And I realized that. And like I said, everything just went off my shoulder. And right now I'm talking about it, and I still get goosebumps because it feels so good. That it also validated for me that you did just fine. You're fine, Lay. You did your best, and now move on. Stop it.
Well, thank you for sharing and being, authentic and transparent about your experience. And for those of you watching this interview, every person who goes to this class is going to find something, maybe one thing or two things that they picked up that will, if you're really taking the class with the intention to be on a journey to be, your very best self. And this, like I said, it's a little meaty. And when you start this, the concepts are shared in a way that is a little maybe unfamiliar to some people. And then when you get through in these agreements, you start diving in a little bit, as Lay did, when you really are giving your best in this class, along with the coaches who really help you to dive a little bit deeper in your old agreements and where they came from and how you can't, or just like you said, Lay, you realize you had this agreement and now you understand why you've done it and the motivation behind it. And now to give yourself permission to accept that no matter, you can't fix people, you can't fix others, you can't fix their situation, but you can be of assistance to them in the best capacity that you're able to.
But I'm not done with this book. This is going to be a book that I'm going to keep with me for the rest of my life, God willing, for as long as I can. Yes, I would highly recommend this class if you want to rediscover who you really are. And I think this is the best book, in my opinion, at this moment, that this would actually help you to bring out the best in you, or rediscover that you are more than what you think you are or who you are. You would rediscover who you really are. So I definitely will recommend this class, Nicole.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lay. Again, for all of you watching, we just highly recommend the Four Agreements Journey with Coach Daryl Price and Coach Kiwi Whitehead. If you want more information about the class, please get back with the person, or wherever it is you shared or saw this video. Reach out to either Lay or myself or anyone, or wherever this is posted, you might see it. Reach out and get information about the class. We both highly and strongly recommend that every person who is trying to achieve anything in their life, that you take a deep dive into this journey and come out the other side with a better understanding of who you are and where you're headed. Thank you so much, Lay, and we'll see you again on the next video.